Happy Monday, everybody. It has been one heck of a busy day. I've been on the phone since 8 o'clock this morning. It's now 4 o'clock in the evening. We got to get a video recorded for today. So I got a question today. Thank you so much to Dream Team Services who sent in a question I can actually answer, I think, relatively quickly and get this out for the day. So I'm rushing a little bit. It's going to happen from time to time. We make so many videos that some days it's really easy and some days it is very hard today. It's a hard one, but mostly good things in my office. All right, let's start off. Hey, Scott, hello, longtime viewer. I have a simple question. What's involved in an expat moving from Costa Rica to Nicaragua? I have a vehicle registered here. I also have pets and some belongings. Okay, so he's living in Costa Rica. He's interested in coming up to paradise and getting out of what feels to us up here like the rat race of Costa Rica. To us, Costa Rica and the United States seem really similar in lifestyle. I know that to Americans who are living in the U.S., it doesn't feel that way, and to Costa Ricans, they'd be like, that would be a crazy comparison. But when you're coming from Nicaragua, we feel like there's a lot of similarities there. We understand why you'd want to come to someplace a lot more laid back, a lot more low cost of living, a lot safer, and just there's a lot going on that you'd want to be in Nicaragua. So before we jump into all that, hey, I'm Scott Allen Miller. This is my daily life living in Leon, Nicaragua, and a couple of housekeeping things. If you have any questions, anything that you might need, hop into those show notes. And if you want to send in a question like Dream Team Services did today, consider getting in the comments and asking a question or just saying hello. That's great too. But if you'd like to send in a video question and have yourself get on the show, which we love doing and people do way too little, go in the show notes. There's instructions on how you can send me a video that you take of yourself at home. We'll put you on the show, answer your questions. Lots of fun. And of course, if you want to jump in and do some real-time stuff, Thursday nights we try to do a live stream basically every week. Loads of fun. We spend the whole evening doing it. Great place to get. We also have, check the show notes. We got a WhatsApp group for expats in Nicaragua. Great place to connect with people and so forth. Lots of great information in there, including how you can sponsor the show by buying me a coffee and how you can help out my producer who has cancer. And we have a GoFundMe to help her and her family here in Nicaragua. So if you're moving from Costa Rica to Nicaragua, you got a lot of things going for you. One, same language. Like, this is nice and easy. Two, we share a border and a really easy one to get across. You're going to want to drive up to the northwest corner and cross at Piñas Blancas into Nicaragua. And that much is that simple. Like, you really don't have a lot that you need to do. Now, there may be some questions because you do have a vehicle there in Costa Rica that may require legally some amount of exporting from Costa Rica. That's a question that you'll have to answer there. I unfortunately don't have that information about Costa Rica, but it's purely a Costa Rican question. As far as coming to Nicaragua, there's a couple different things you're going to need to do, but basically you're just going to drive across the border. Nicaragua allows you to come up and stay. That is a hard border with Costa Rica, so you get full new visa when you enter Nicaragua, and presumably you'll go back and forth a little bit as you do the transition. You probably have more possessions than just fit in your car. Maybe not. So maybe it's a single trip and you're adios to Costa Rica and you don't have to worry about it anymore. But the reality is that you can use Nicaragua and Costa Rica as a way to bounce back and forth. And so if you wanted to do some living between the two places and splitting your time, there's a lot of options there that are very, very simple and can keep you from needing to worry about residency potentially in either country. So something to think about, probably not for the question asker here, but for a lot of you who are like, well, I kind of like both. There's actually some real advantages to doing 6 months and 6 months that basically neither country's ever going to recognize you as being on the verge of being a resident and allow you to be a tourist for forever. And you get the variety of both countries. They are a little bit different. And so, you're getting a little bit different food. You're getting different urban advantages. You're getting different restaurants. I said that twice, I guess. You're getting a little bit different landscapes. Definitely the rivers are different between them. And that could be a really nice option for people who really like Costa Rica, but do want to have a big cost savings and want that extra variety. It turns it from living in a country of 5 million or a country of 7 million into a combined 12 million. You might notice the difference. But where it's going to get a little complicated is that car and those pets. So generally, if you're bringing your pets from Costa Rica into Nicaragua, it's not going to be a big deal. Put them in the car, drive them up. Make sure you have all of your necessary shots, rabies and distemper, those kinds of things. The things you would normally want to do. You don't need anything special, but you do need the basics, same as you would do in the U.S. or whatever. And you're going to need to get a clear bill of health from your veterinarian in Costa Rica. Now, I don't know what government agency in Costa Rica is considered the official one for providing this for Nicaragua. In the United States, it's the USDA, for those familiar. That gives you an idea that, okay, it's not your regular vet, but your regular vet should know who to contact. So find a good vet. Hopefully you have one there in Costa Rica and ask them what paperwork is required from Costa Rica specifically for going to Nicaragua. It will be the official national bill of animal health or whatever. That's how that works. And so You get that, make sure you have your shots, document those shots, and drive them up to the border. You should have no problems at all. And this is one of the great situations where you really end up with problems is flying your pets down. That's where a lot of the flights is where a lot of the danger and complications and costs come from. Being able to just drive across the border, you're in really great shape there. Once you've gotten your pets and your possessions, or most of them, moved into your new country, then most things have been settled. As we're doing this, I'm standing out here and I have a really large raised well. I'm actually going to just spin the camera around because this is hilarious. Check out, I was wondering if my dog ever goes up there, because I was in my mind wanting to clean up, because I've got some of this stuff sitting over here and I don't like it being on the ground because the dogs will run into it, and I'm like, well, I could just set it up there and get it out of the way. They would never go up there, right? And as I'm standing here wondering it, I've never seen this before, my dog just randomly hopped up there and right into where it would have been, and I'm like, nope, that's not a good idea. So yeah, take care of your pets. We are talking about driving up the pets. You're going to want to come up and visit. Like, this is super easy. You have a car, drive it on up. Just talk to your, insurance agency and all that in Costa Rica. You should be able to get whatever paperwork you need easily to drive up to Nicaragua just to visit. No big deal. People do it all the time. Drive up, do your searching for your initial apartment or whatever. Make sure you have a place to take your dogs to. That would be the first step. Have a place to drop off your stuff. Because you're living in Costa Rica, this is going to be really easy. Like, I can't imagine any place that's easier to move from than Costa Rica into Nicaragua. And having a car, while that adds some complications, also solves a bunch of things. So you're able to just drive up and do everything firsthand. So let's just say you're going to be staying in Granada. We'll just pick a place, drive up, do some, spend some time in Granada, drive around, find an apartment that you like, get a lease, do all those things while you're on your tourist visa. Get that all established, and then go back to Costa Rica to wait until your lease starts. It could be a couple days, could be a couple weeks, whatever you work out. Then get as many possessions as you can, pack them in your car, take your dogs, drive up and get that apartment going. Make sure you have a Cuidador here in case you ever need to do anything, and leave your dogs that you have someone to check in on them or whatever. And then if you need to return to Costa Rica, you can just drive down, get another carload of stuff, and come back up another time, maybe a week or two or a month or two later, whatever makes sense for you, or get a moving truck if you absolutely need to. But I think for most people that stuff is going to work. If you have a lot of furniture, obviously you're going to have to organize some kind of shipping, but you probably can find a shipping company that will drive a truck overland into whatever city in Nicaragua you want to be in to bring additional stuff up beyond what fits in your car. But it could be that simple. Just find that starter apartment, or if you want to shop for a house, of course you can. I generally don't recommend going straight into a house, even living that close, but living so close that you can just hop across the border. Realistically, if I wanted to buy a house in Costa Rica, I could do so from Nicaragua without too big of a problem. It would be a little bit like buying a house in Houston while living in Dallas. A little bit cumbersome, but very doable. It's not like doing it from abroad. It's like doing it from medium distance. Little bit of accommodation there would make sense. So if you do that, you should be able to get your dogs up, you should be able to get your possessions up really with just minor inconveniences and no safety issues and no big paperwork issues. And you just need that tourist visa to come to Nicaragua. Nothing has to be done in paperwork ahead of time. Now, the biggest problem is going to be your vehicle. I just said that like I was living in Texas. I just mentioned Dallas and Houston. Your vehicle. When you're bringing your vehicle up from Costa Rica, you need to either come up for just 30 days. You're going to have to come into Nicaragua and do this 30-day paperwork. You can return to Costa Rica within that 30 days, and it gets relatively simple. If you want to stay longer than 30 days with that vehicle, you're going to have to register it in Nicaragua. This is going to be a pain and may not be worth it right away. If your vehicle is already all set in Costa Rica, once you've moved the dogs up, once you've moved your stuff up, maybe leave your vehicle in Costa Rica for a little while you ensure that you really do want to be in Nicaragua. You have a couple choices here. One is you could sell the vehicle in Costa Rica and simply be done with it and not worry about it for a while. If you're here in Nicaragua, we often do without cars. It's not a huge deal. It depends on your lifestyle. There are definitely reasons to have a vehicle, but there are also good reasons not to. So it depends on you and a lot of other factors. But selling it in Costa Rica easily will make sense. Keep in mind, vehicles in Costa Rica generally cost much more than they do in Nicaragua, and you're going to want to make sure you have a car that is easily serviceable in Nicaragua, which easily you have one, but you may not as well. If you get one of those sweet MGs that they sell in Costa Rica that I would love to have, we don't sell those up here. We can't get the parts. We ship them in from Costa Rica. So you can imagine those dollar signs just clicking up really quickly. So generally it's not going to make sense. So I think you're going to want to sell a car there. Use the proceeds and buy one here. I just bought a couple cars, or was involved in buying a couple cars, and the prices here are really low. We bought a brand new Suzuki car for $20K. We bought a brand new Cherry SUV luxury with all the bells and whistles for $27K. That's really good. Try to do that in Costa Rica or the United States. It's not going to happen. So if you import from there, you may have some taxes. You may have a lot of overhead, like a lot of paperwork overhead every 30 days until your residency. It could be a quagmire. Just sell it and do without until you get your residency, and then keep the cash from the sale. Get your residency whenever that makes sense for you, right? You can start by doing border runs, try it out. If you're happy in Nicaragua, then decide if you just want to do border runs and do without a vehicle. If you want to do some questionable gray area stuff to get a vehicle, that is an option. Generally, you don't want to do that. We did manage to get a car in our name before we had residency, so it can be done, but it's not considered standard. Like, a lot of people fail to do that, but it theoretically can be done. So play around with a few of those things and make your decisions. And if you are going to stay and you do want a vehicle and those other things don't make sense for you, or you're going to stay full-time and you don't ever want to do border runs, then you're going to want to pursue residency at some point, depending on the type of residency you want, rentista or pensionado or investor. Make your choices, do that process, and that could just be a few months, or it could be a little bit longer if that's from the time you decide that's what you want. And then once you have that, just go buy a car. But if you need a car before that, you can incorporate and get a car. Definitely an option. Cumbersome, but definitely an option. You can find someone to put the car in their name. Generally not recommended, but it is legal and able to be done. Questionably legal, but is generally considered legal. And there are some processes by which it is possible to get a car. Just be aware that not everyone manages to do it, and it's not an assumption that it'll be able to be done. So, but I think you've got some pretty easy things. That the car is definitely your hardest problem. But especially if you're willing to sell it and buy something new in Nicaragua when the time is right, you're going to find that very, very easy. So that's honestly about it. Like, this is a quite simple process. If you didn't have that car and you just had the dogs, I'd say just, get someone to, arrange drivers, but get like a taxi truck to take a van to drive you and the dogs to the border. Make sure the other van is waiting for you on the Nicaragua side. Maybe get a helper to help you cross the border with your pets. Walk through, get in the van on the other side, and off to your new life in Nicaragua. That would be that easy, but because of the vehicle, you are going to have a little bit of decision and challenge there, but that's really going to be it. And if you just really want to keep it, you probably can, but you're going to incur taxes because you are importing a vehicle without being a resident, and a bit of paperwork because it's not going to happen overnight. So expect that to be a bit of a pain. Hope that answered your question, and hopefully we see you soon here in Nicaragua. Let us know if you have any other questions, and of course, getting those show notes and everything. Like we said, check all those things for information. And as always, we'd love it if you like, subscribe, share on social media, tell someone about the show, sponsor us by buying us a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/Scott Allen Miller. Help out Marcela with her fight against cancer. Show your support, leave a comment, and I will see all of you tomorrow.